Right, after everything last season, it was clear this team needed some fresh energy and quality in midfield, and we might have just pulled off something very special. A young talent wanted by Juventus has somehow ended up in Aberdeen. Let's see what other deals we can get done. Right, well, as you can see, our initial board budgets rather have been set, and we start out with a 6 million budget, which is quite the improvement on last year of just the 500k. So if it can keep improving like that, I will be very happy. And so we'll quickly skip through some of these things. Expectation and end of season team meeting, which I always love doing. And I'm going to tell the players this year that I think we can qualify for the Europa League. I don't want to go too. I don't want to go too optimistic just yet. I think we need a big window really to close that gap on Celtic because they were so far in front. So they were happy with that anyway. So that is always a good thing. Last thing you want to do is upset the squad before it's even before the season is really even starting. Uh, been really interesting here. Release clause leaves Williams' future uncertain. He had a good season, to be fair to him. I'll have to look into that. Herrera setting a new clean sheet record. So that turned out to be a good signing. Either that or he just got lucky. But no, I think he played pretty well, to be fair. Besides, seemed to got injured a few times, which isn't always ideal. But fortunately, we did have obviously Bratvit as backup. So right, well, what else we got? Our commercial summary saying, "Thought these don't offer contracts to them. They're not good enough, so we'll get those replaced off screen." And the commercial summary: Cullen being the top shirt seller, with Armstrong in second. Obviously, Armstrong retiring now as well. So we could do some big names in, get some shirts sold, help the budget for next season. We've got a couple of players named in Team of the Year. That's always good to see. Our left side, Brandon Williams and Keskinen. Fair play. Done well considering like we only really clinched third right at the skin of our teeth at the end. And yeah, Armstrong announces his decision to retire. So I mean, 34-year-old, you can see his physicals are really falling off. So it's probably the right decision. I mean, he might have still played for us here and there, but maybe because of his versatility more than anything. But yeah, that's another player we're going to have to look at replacing. And we may have already actually replaced him. As you'll see when the transfer window opens. And yeah, last day of May now. So I think the transfer window will open on the next day. Loan players have come back and whatnot. And let's tick it over to that next day, where all the fun starts. Andre Henrique loan finishes, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not sure whether I gave him the opportunity to do what I needed him to do, but certainly didn't show it apart from like that one game, I think, where he scored twice. So, Jaden Dan's been player of the month for Motherwell. Yeah, he's one that I always see that's supposed to be quite good on this on Football Manager, but never actually seen it happen as of yet. A quick look at some of these released players. Oxlade-Chamberlain one is like his attributes look like a player who's been injured a lot. I loved Oxlade-Chamberlain as a player in his earlier days at Arsenal, and I would have loved to bring him in, but his physicals just aren't there. I've had a look at him a couple of times, and unfortunately, he wouldn't be. He just wouldn't do it for us. So, let's sort this mentoring group out. So the transfer window doesn't open until the 14th. That's a random day to start on, isn't it? Well, I always thought it was the 1st of June. But, oh well. Anything interesting happening? No, nothing too much there. So we will skip forward and hone in on the transfer window opening. New Iceland star speaks of his pride. Is that Kjartansson or is that Keskinen? I would imagine it's Kjartansson, seeing as he's younger, but yeah, it is. We'll give him a little congratulations. Who's this Julian Palacios? He's not really the profile we're looking for. We're kind of looking for players on the younger side, not someone who's 27, who wouldn't really be an improvement on what we've got. Although we do need numbers now. And the transfer window is officially open. As we say goodbye to Stuart Armstrong after the pain of missing 4 penalties in a row and then the joy of scoring 3 in a row. It's been emotional. And our man has finally arrived. This guy was wanted by Juventus, apparently, when we were first looking at him. You might remember him from a couple of episodes ago. We only paid 1.1 million for him, and I think he looks very, very good. Only a balanced personality, which isn't ideal, but if he really comes on, he could be either really good for us, first and foremost, or secondly, he could make us a big profit, which would be really nice. I think he's got a transfer release clause of like 7 million or something so far. So if we can get a couple of years in and then offer him a new contract if he really progresses to remove that or to at least up it, that would be ideal. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I think he could be a really good signing. Like I say, was wanted, according to the game, was wanted by Juventus when we got him, or when we looked at him. So, and that Cullen deal looking like it might come back to bite us in the arse a couple of times as he matches the highest earner. Can't remember exactly what he was on, and I don't know exactly what Amaro is on, but I think it's around 7.5, 8.5. So it's only a slight increase. And talking of slight increases, we've moved up 55 places to 133 in the world rankings or in the club rankings. So that's always positive. And our season expectations. We will just confirm whatever the board want because we'll leave that as the bare minimum. I'd imagine it'll be qualified for Europe again anyway. We've had an offer there from Hart for Lobben, who didn't play for us much at all last season. He's only 20, but I think only 3-star potential. We're kind of looking for more than that. So if we can get that 450k for him, that'll be a nice little increase to the budget as well. And we've got a couple of scouting reports here. I went through just before the end of the season and looked at the contracts expiring, and I went because I knew obviously money wouldn't be like we wouldn't have the most money basically. So I just went through and looked at your Chelseas, your Man Uniteds, your Man Cities, and looked at the youngsters that were leaving them because quite often you will pick up, especially if you're in a tight position for money wise, or if you're doing a lower league, say if in like say League 2, League 1. Quite a lot of the time you'll end up picking up some youngsters that the big teams have released because they're not going to basically be good enough for Premier League or top teams. So quite often you'll pick up somebody good, and then again, same situation. Even if they don't turn out as good as expected, or you sort of get promoted, or you progress past them, and they don't quite stick with you. It's always another opportunity for making some money. This guy not looking particularly good though, but the reason I was looking at him is actually I'm pretty sure I had him on a couple of different saves. One with like a lower league save, and I think I did a save where I was in Sweden with Gothenburg, and I remember signing him on a free transfer there as well. So yeah, he turned out not too bad on those saves. On this one, and doesn't look particularly great. No, some of these look okay, but 6'5", 16 jumping reach. Just the other physicals are lacking a little bit, and I quite like my defenders to have good physicals. This guy's 22, only 12 finishing as a striker at 22. He looks okay, but I just don't think it's really. I don't think it'd really be worth it. This guy is certainly rated a little bit higher than by the scouts. He's a left back. Got decent pretty decent tackling and marking for a full back. Looks probably very limited in what he can do as a fullback, but some pretty good physicals as well. So we'll offer him a trial and see what the rest of his stats say, and we'll make a decision later on. And this guy, also a left back, also looking quite limited. Pretty well rounded physicals, but yeah, I'm not seeing nothing jumping out at me out of these players anyway. Right, we will crack on anyway. Not sure what it's saying. Amaro's been promoted because he should have been in the first team anyway. See his current ability compared to the other players there. He's looking like he should be one of our best players straight away, which is great to see considering he's so young still. Well, this mentoring group as Kaleha set to go on trial. Yes, we'll see how he gets on, and then we'll make a decision a bit further down the line. He looks not too bad. I don't think he'll be necessarily like a guaranteed starter, but he looks like he could be a useful squad player there. Good determination. Fairly determined personality isn't the greatest. We're already approaching the end of June. Before you know it, our Europa League qualifying games will be here. As Lobban is set to sign for Hearts for 450k, so bringing a little bit more money in for us, which is nice to see. Got to be careful with selling these youngsters, because obviously when it does come to the European registration, it is difficult to fill it as it is with such a poor youth setup. But we also brought another player in here. Unfortunately, I have lost the footage from like basically a month of in-game, like an in-game month. And in that month, we signed this guy, Matthew Liverland, for 3.5 mil from Blackburn. I think he looks pretty good. Fairly professional personality is also pretty good. And hopefully he can progress and help us along the way. And after I just mentioned about those European qualifying games sneaking up on us, obviously with losing that month worth of footage, We are literally straight into our first game now in I think it's the second qualifying round. It'll be a two-leg tie, and we're playing a team I've never heard of I think it's October. Apologies if I'm pronouncing that completely wrong, but I'm hoping for a good win here. First game, obviously, at home, and let's see if we can start off great as Moises heads it home and puts us in front within 6 minutes, and that is the perfect start to this tie. If we can basically put this tie to bed in the first game, in the first leg, and so we can rotate the squad a little bit maybe for the second leg. We'll see. Like I say, I've not heard of these, so I'm completely in the dark about their quality, if they're actually decent side. I don't even know where they're from, to be honest. But anyway, Litherland starting this game. There's Hiran. Plays it to Moises. Moises shoots, but the keeper keeps it out. And it's cleared to the edge of the box with Raimu, who goes straight from long distance and sends it flying into the crowd. Yeah, so the reason I actually showed the attributes there of Litherland before this game is because he has gone straight into the starting lineup in this game. Didn't want you to be in the dark about, oh, there's just a random new guy at the back. So hopefully he can do the business. Apologies again for not having the footage, but it was a fairly simple transfer. 3.5 mil. There's probably a couple of add-ons there. It is a fair chunk out of our budget. I think we had like 6 million, but with a couple of player sales and hopefully we can still get a few more players in. As Amaro also making his debut in this game, straight onto free kicks and straight onto the score sheet as he fires the free kick in to make it 2-0. And the perfect debut for him. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Obviously, last season we had Geiger in that defensive midfield slot, and I expected quite a lot from him, considering how good he looked. And we didn't really see it. There was glimpses here and there. There was a couple of long-range goals and a few assists and whatnot, but on a whole, didn't really do it. As Keskinen fires over there. Keskinen, obviously, team of the year. I'm fully aware of his quality now, even though he generally doesn't look that great on his attributes. But after such a good first season, I think he's going to probably be quite vital for us for this season going forward. So hopefully we see even more of an improvement from him. Zeta Moises plays Hiran and behind. Hiran crosses in, but he's going to go straight into the keeper's hands. And unless we can do anything in the next 45 seconds, it looks like we're going to go in the lead at half-time, 2-0. Slitherland with a header there. Plays it in the last ditch. Hiran. Back to Amaro. Amaro to Moises now. Going to go past his man. Cut back. Lays it back to Amaro. Amaro inside to Araimu. Araimu forward to Keskinen and shoots from distance. And the keeper saves and puts it out for another corner. And yeah, nothing coming from the corner. So we do go in at half-time. 2-0, which is always great to see. Hopefully we can add another couple of goals to this, so the second leg's basically completely put to bed. Absolutely peppering these on the shot count, 16-1. Possession obviously a lot more even. I think that's just how this tactic seems to work, to be honest, and maybe like the way that we've got the instructions set up. There's Keskinen now. Goes past his man. Puts back on his right foot. Goes past his man again. Probably should have scored there, but shoots wide of the post. And yeah, it says at the bottom, deserved a goal, and I completely agree. That's where his 9 finishing shows up. Because he should be burying that one. It's still just the one shot for October. As we are approaching the second half of the second half. We'll make a couple of subs. Bilalovic and Bilalovic and Milanovic coming on as we take off Keskinen. and Hajran, and we'll also take off Lazatic for Cullen as well. And Bilalovic making an instant impact there. Literally, I think he's been on the pitch less than 2 minutes, and he has won us a penalty. Obviously, no Armstrong now. So our penalty taker this season is going to be, well, with Hajran's also off the pitch. So Cullen's going to step up for this. And he scores, fires it home. Keeper goes the right way, but can't get enough on it to keep it out. So Cullen, after a pretty mediocre first season, he's looking to stat pad with some penalties. I rate it. But hopefully he has a much better season as well. Milanovic with a corner now. Comes in, cleared to the edge of the box, and it's finding its way to Cullen. Cullen gives it back to Milanovic, who plays it inside. Little 1-2, but tackled, but only cleared back to Brandon Williams, who's going to find Bilalovic again. Gives it to Litherland, centre back, high up here, and he's passing. He's lacking, as shown there. As Milne's decided he's going to go on a little adventure down the right hand side and cross it towards the back stick. It's going to be cleared again. And we're going to see a counter attack here for October, are we? Maybe the first highlight for them of the game. And they're going to go through all the way and score, which is completely against the run of play. Obviously, like I say, they've only had one shot up to this point. And we'll make a couple of subs after that. Yeah, 3-1, kind of. I mean, I think that's nicing them a little bit, to be honest. I don't think they really deserve that, as we've got another free kick. Cullen going to be taking this one. Tries to bend it into the keeper's side corner, but not enough whip on it. And it goes out for a goal kick. And we've got another corner here, a little bit deeper, a little bit further out. Not really shooting range. And he's crossed it to the far post. Litherland can't get onto it. It's cleared to Moises out on the left-hand side. And Moises is going to go past both of his men, pull it across. Biladovic's shot's blocked. Not sure what that clearance was, but we've been given a throw-in near the corner flag out on this right-hand side. And we maybe nick another goal right at the end to restore our 3-goal lead, as we've got another free kick, whipped in by Cullen. Litherland can't get on the end of it again. Moises picking it up again on the left-hand side. Plays it inside to Milanovic. Into a Moraim, and he's got to go all the way across to Cullen out on the right-hand side. He's got to go past his man, pull it back to Moises. He fires it home to make it 4-1, and we do restore that 3-goal lead, and we are going to win this game comfortably in the end. Nice bit of play from Cullen there. Lovely ball to find him, to be honest. I'm not sure if that's what he meant, as it seemed to fire off a little bit wide. But yeah, Cullen did well. Got past his man and laid it back for Moises, who really shouldn't have missed and didn't. 2 goals for Moises on our first game of the season, which would beat Actove 4-1. The perfect start to our games this season. Hopefully they continue. Lassie Moises on form. Give him a little praise after that performance. Tomorrow scores on debut. Things you love to see. And this Kane Kessler Hayden. Ex-Aston Villa. Love that. He's also quite a handy player, actually, for lower leagues and championship and whatnot, because he can play both full-backs very well. Some real poor performances in training there from Brandon Williams, Hajran and Bratvit. Kind of expected with the two latter ones, but Brandon Williams, he just doesn't enjoy training, clearly, does he? Not the first time we've seen that. Hajran, not sure what his issue is. He has been playing. Maybe it's just an age thing. Doesn't feel like he needs to anymore. Bratvit, obviously, backup goalkeeper, but right, let's have a little look through these. Kind of looking for those A's. You might notice a lot of these are Aston Villa players, and it's simply because being an Aston Villa fan, this guy I had on another save where I think it was Tamworth. It was Tamworth or Telford. I always get mixed up, but it was like a lower league, and we got them all the way to the Premier League, and I ended up in the Premier League from like the National League, and for like 2 or 3 of those different leagues, I had Teddy Bloomfield, and he turned into a really good player. But unfortunately, on this one, doesn't look particularly good. But yeah, so what I'm basically saying is I know a lot of the Villa players, so I'm like I know which ones should be good and which ones have helped me on previous saves and whatnot. So I'm always kind of keeping an eye out for those to see if they can help us or see if there's any that become available. But the only problem is, unless they're on a free transfer, their values are just way too much for us to actually go and buy. Right, we've got to choose a new captain. I think Armstrong was the captain for last season. So after we got rid of Shinny anyway, so we will promote Nicky Devlin up to main captain. And for the assistant, we will give it to No Start. Obviously, tends to play almost every game, so certainly makes sense. So don't get too excited about this signing. It is just a new member of staff. It's a new scout for us. Bradfit signing a new 3-year contract there as well. So we've got a couple of loan offers here for Sam McLean and for Finley Marshall. He's got pretty decent potential, so hopefully he can go and gain some first team experience. Go to Vecchi. Kind of need a little bit more information on him. And as you can see, our youngster Kjartansson is, well, let's deal with this one first. Yeah, Kjartansson is going to Arts for 600k. And the reason that is because we are looking to sign this guy. We're looking to sign both of these guys, but one of them unfortunately doesn't want to come to us. But we've got Federico Redondo here. As you can see on the left-hand side there, good current ability, good potential ability. And he's going to demand a lot of the wages, unfortunately, but I think it will be worth it. You can see he's demanding a minimum release clause of 9.75 million, which, I mean, I guess it could be good for us if we kind of want to get rid of him and he's got that price set. But right, we are straight into the second leg against Actobe away from home now. So let's have a little look. Have a little look see to see where they're from while we wait. And they are from Kazakhstan. I'm referred to as FC Aktobe. Doesn't tell me how to say it, but yeah, Kazakhstan team formed 59 years ago. Nicknames the Red and Whites. So there you go, bit of knowledge for you. Something I certainly didn't know. As it's probably a good thing that I did go and look that up, as we have started pretty quietly. A lot of shots, but nothing for us to actually watch. As we're heading to the 33rd minute, and we still have not seen a highlight. And finally, in the 35th, we see Hiram with a corner here for us. And he's going to fire it in. It's going to be cleared to the edge of the box. Kessner to Brandon Williams. Moises plays it back out wide to Hiram. He shoots from a really tight angle, and Hiram is going to fire it home to make it 1-0. That seemed like a thought. Oh, no. Never mind. No VAR. No VAR to even confirm that. We're just gonna go with the linesman and call offside. Fair enough. Do we not have VAR in these earlier rounds? I mean, I would have thought we would still. I don't know. I guess not, right? But yeah, it was a great finish from such a tight angle as we go in half time, 0-0, 16 shots to 0, and that being the only highlight of the first half as they make a triple substitution at half time to try and enhance their fortunes and try and get back into this game. As Moises goes past his man down the right, crosses it to the far post, and Keskinen arrives instantly 20 seconds into the second half, and we do score another goal to make it 5-1 on aggregate and completely take this game away from Aktob. And unfortunately for them, this looks like it's going to be the end of the journey in Europe. And it's by our big Icelandic left winger, Keskinen, who fires it home. And yeah, still no shot. I think they only had two, possibly three at a push shots in the first game. So yeah, I think this they might have just got a bad draw. Maybe they did have fared better against some other teams, but not to say that we're the greatest team in this competition. So I certainly don't expect to win it. It would be nice, but we'll make a couple of subs. We'll get we'll bring Cullen on, bring Milanovic on. See if Cullen can do the business again. Hiran probably didn't deserve to be starting anyway after such poor training performances. But we could also say the same against Brandon Williams, who playing very well at left back for us. And yeah, very, very few and far between in terms of highlights in this game. As we approach 80 minutes, I think we've only had maybe 2 or 3 in the whole game. Make a couple more subs. We'll get Tobers on for Liverland, and we will get Nicky Devlin on for Jack Milne. Just rotate the squad, get a little bit of sharpness up for those players that haven't played. As the cross comes in, and with their first shot of the game, almost identically to the first leg, Aktob have scored. I think it was their second shot of the game in the first leg and their first shot of the second leg, and they've managed to score again. So, I mean, fair play. They are efficient when they do get chances. They score. So, straight from kickoff, though, we find ourselves on the attack with Moises down the right-hand side. Pulls it back to the edge of the box. Amaro plays it inside to Devlin. Devlin's pass forward to Milanovic, whose shot is saved at the near post and goes out for a corner kick as we look to instantly hit back and restore our lead in this game. I mean, let's be honest, we don't need to restore it. It would be nice for the confidence side of things, but yeah, 5-2 on aggregate. We're pretty comfortable in this tie anyway, and they have had a couple more shots since the goal, but let's be honest, they're not going to trouble us at this point. As Brandon Williams for a throw-in now, it's going to be the last kick of the game, is it? Tomorrow plays it to Milanovic inside the box, gives it back to Brandon Williams, back to Milanovic, back to Amaro, who shoots from distance. And that's a great effort from Amaro, tipped over the bar to go out for a corner, and that is going to be that as we qualify. Well, we don't qualify, we are through this qualifying round. I don't know how many qualifying rounds we have got. You know what it's like in Europe. No idea what it's like with the coefficients and stuff. Knowing how it was last season, we've probably got another qualifying round, so yeah, we receive 87k, so that's good to see. Oh, we've drawn, yeah, so there you go. We've drawn Sion in the next round. So, right, Nisbet's had an offer. He didn't play for us much last season, so we'll get him out. Bring in a little bit more cash. And we'll give the players a little bit of a rest. As we have got Hibs coming up for our first game of the season. Not ideal, only having 2 days rest before your first game of the league season, but I guess we will have a little bit of a bit more match sharpness than the opposition in Hibs. If you remember rightly, beating them twice at the end of last season is what got us into Europe in the first place. So this David Watson looks like he could be decent. I just think Hilly, obviously, if you remember, got relegated at the end of last season. I think demanding 2.4 million for him feels a little bit much. I mean, he is only 21, and that is why he wants to leave the club, because the club got relegated. He's got some pretty nice stats, to be fair to him. Obviously, I've got mine coloured differently to probably how you have, but a couple of pinks on there is always a good sign for me. I think they're just demanding that fee because of the release clause, which is, if you didn't have that, I think you'd be looking at maybe $1.5 million for him. Don't know. Right, we are about to get this league underway for season number 2 as we start with a game against Hibs. Now, if you remember last season, we did start with I think it was a 3-2 win over Hearts. Yeah, I think it was a 3-2 win over Hearts on the first day of the season, and before it went downhill quite rapidly after that. So, I mean, the first result doesn't predict how everything goes, as last year it went totally the opposite way. So maybe this season we'll start with a loss and end up doing pretty well. I would prefer just to keep winning, to be honest, but let's see how we get on. Like I say, the reason we got into Europe was because we beat Hibs back-to-back at the end of last season, once in the regular season, and then obviously in the split. They were obviously slightly above us in the table, so let's see if we can add to that, as we certainly seem to have started this at the stronger team. The only team to have had a shot so far in this game. Unfortunately, we haven't scored as of yet with those shots, though. And Moises, can he do something here? Cuts inside, going past his man. He's going to go past him again on the outside this time. And he's going to run straight into the box, fire it across goal. But it's going to be saved and put out for a corner. Great burst of pace from Moises there to go past his man. Is that Nastasic from ex-Man City there? Hibbs making moves in the window. There's Mulligan out on the right-hand side now. Lays it back, but gets it back. Pulls it back. All the backs as Robbie Ure hits it low and hard. And he definitely scored against us last season, and he's going to continue his scoring streak against us by scoring and putting Hibs 1-0 in front in this game, first game of the season. Not a great start for us. Lovely little 1-2 to put Mulligan in behind out on the right-hand side. And a simple cut back and finish to put Hibs 1-0 in the lead. With their first shot of the game, as perfect football manager fashion. Standard. Things you don't love to see. Right, another chance here just before half-time for Hibs, unfortunately. He comes out to the right with Mulligan again. Going to go back. Oh, is that Oriol Romeo? Bringing in all the big names. I'll say big relative to the league. And that tackle from Brandon Williams is going to signal the end of the first half. We go in 1-0 down. 45 minutes to rescue this game, though, and I think you'd say we'd played pretty well so far. Besides, obviously, conceding that one goal, but 6 shots, only 2 on target. Probably need to start hitting the target a little bit more. Possession more in their favour, but like I said previously, possession doesn't seem to really be something that we focus on in this tactic and these instructions, so I'm not too worried about that. What I am worried about is every highlight we've had for the last 3 or 4 have been for Hibs. So, although we've won it back now, and Moises is going to go past his man and fire it across goal, and it's going to be saved and put out for another corner. Can we do anything here? Everything seemed to be falling for Moises in this game. Unfortunately, hasn't finished anything as Hoyran's corner comes in, ends up with no star, goes back out wide to Hoyran out on the left. Plays it inside, little 1-2, back to the edge of the box. Litherland with a long range shot, and it's going to come back to Aramu, who fires it into the crowd. This guy, his finish, it must be terrible, because that is certainly not the first time I've seen him shoot and send it into row Z. And time is rapidly running out. So, Burton Moises, even though he seemed to be playing pretty well up until maybe like the final ball, the final shot, rating suggests he's having a bit of a stinker. And to be honest, there's a few of them. We'll get higher on off for Milanovic, and we'll leave it as that for now. Don't want to change too much. We are having chances. We just need to convert one of them. Right. Could this be the one that we needed to convert? Cullen plays Moises in again down the right hand side. Can he find anyone in the middle? He's going to cut inside and go past his man, pull it across, and he's going to give it straight to Romeu. And now Hibs are on the counter attack down the left hand side with Eldin. Eldin crosses in. Robbie Ure is there again, and we've gone from having a great chance to conceding. And Robbie Ure scores his second goal of the game to put us 2-0 down. And it's looking like it's going to be a loss for the first game of the season. Unless these subs can perform miracles. We'll get Lazatic on. And we'll leave it at that, to be honest. Kind of lacking a little bit on the bench. Still going to need to bring some more players in, I think. Obviously, I don't think what we've got on the bench is enough to change this game, unfortunately. So, I mean, the stats suggest it should be us that are 2-0 in front, but scoreline says different, and we're just going to have to suck it up, to be honest, as we finish 2-0 down, lost. And we can't continue our winning streak against Hibs. And we lose our first game of the season. Not ideal. So, that's a new era underway. We've made some progress in Europe, but the league has given us an early warning. Next episode, we'll see how we respond to that and what reinforcements we can bring in. Don't forget, subscribe if you're new, like the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.